138 employees, and I recall in 2001 we had 170 or thereabouts. What we tried to do was fuse technology together with the lending industry in a fashion that hadn't been done before. Our sales and marketing department, we completely changed in 1996 from what was a prior model of sales and marketing where we had very aggressive salespeople paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to perform their duties and services for the company. The problem was, in that mid-period of 1996, I was trying to transition the company and its leadership from what we had done before, which was known as Gallagher for Windows technology. We were desperately trying to move to the next generation. And we did that in the history of the company 7 times. We did it either because of platform reasons, we did it because technology had shifted and changed, we did it because we felt we needed to. More often than not, we did it because we needed to do it to survive. You've heard survival of the fittest is a big motivator for a lot of folks. Well, that was certainly true of us. And so we brought into the company a new paradigm of sales. We actually had some of our people who were in different departments inside the company become the lead agents for sales, instead of the traditional paradigm of salespeople the way we had done it before. And it worked. It lowered our costs in the sales area, increased the profitability, and enabled us to fund the next gen of technology that we so desperately needed to fund. As a result of that, we would market our products and services, respond to RFIs and RFPs, which stand for Request for Information, Request for Proposal, and our response to those requests became the best, the penultimate in the industry. Everyone knew that if they invited us into the dance, they would get nothing but the highest degree of professionalism. Remember, we were competing against companies with market caps of $2 and $4 and $6 billion and more. And we were a little software company doing $20 million in sales. Tough competition, right? Survival is the key. And so we had our own communications department with 6 people in it that did nothing but prepare documentation on our products and services, that over time, that documentation grew to 25,000 pages of information. We provided technology to 3 of the top 10 banks in the world, including Australia New Zealand Bank, to JP Morgan Chase, IndyMac, and a number of others. We charge for our products and services, as you see on the screen here, based upon the number of users. Oh, that didn't work too well. I don't know whether I'm going forwards or backwards, so bear with me. But you see here that if you had a 500 user license, you might pay $3,200 or thereabouts. So 500 users would run $1.6 million. And then we also charged, in addition to the base license fee, we charged for what is called an ongoing license fee, which you see in the middle of the page here. 20% annually. And consulting services and fees, we charge between $170 and $275 per hour. It's a lot of money. But I was a firm believer from the inception of our professional services charges that people appreciate what they pay for. What they don't pay for, they appreciate a lot less. You almost have a responsibility to charge them. The other thing that happens is when you charge them, they think long and hard before they ask you to make a change. If you give it to them for free, guess what happens? They don't respect how long it takes you to do it because it doesn't come out of their pocket. Our industry expertise was built up over 2 decades and more. We had relationships with the sales and management departments and technical folks of these large banks. And we were required to continually change our technology, our architecture, our infrastructure to respond to what was the latest thing and the latest release. You know what one of our biggest challenges was? We had 38 engineers, and they all, without exception, almost to a person, male or female, wanted to work on the newest technology. Do you blame them? Everybody wants to work on the latest thing. Nobody wants to be working with the dinosaur code in the back room. They want to work on the latest thing. And that's one of your challenges as an entrepreneur, is you've got to figure out how you can have these people be energized about waking up in the morning, about going into work, about about helping the company move its success to the next level. The only way you can ever do that, in my opinion, is you've got to have the right culture within the organization. By the way, those were some of our clients over the years. GMAC Mortgage, Chase Manhattan, First Tennessee Bank. M&I Bank's one of the oldest banks in the country. It was established originally in the mid-1800s. And Australia-New Zealand Bank. I had to go over there and visit. You know, somebody has to do that, right? It's a long way. From Los Angeles, it takes you about 17 hours in the plane. So our software license fees were billed and collected ratably. We had support fees as well and consulting fees. It's important in a technology company, if you could possibly do so, to have a nice mix of those revenue sources, because that way, if sales fall off and you have no new revenue coming into the shop from sales, then hopefully your continuing revenue from software support and from your professional services will enable you to survive and keep you in business. These are some of our professionals. Chad Henke joined me in 1987 out of college at 21 years of age. He's still, as we speak, he's still the chief engineer at the company, working for the company that we sold to. Liliana Negrelli is an attorney, tremendous background in the title company world and field. She too is a consummate professional. Brian Dickerson, with me approximately the same length of time as was Chad Henke. And I could go on and on about the quality of our people. But it was the culture. It was that ability to have people energized and fired up about coming into work every single day, because guess what? There were no titles on any business cards of anybody within the company. It was a completely flat organization. It was a culture that people thrived in because they loved coming to work. How important is that? Well, let me tell you, if you can do that, you will run the productivity of your firm into the stratosphere. Because guess what? There's nothing punitive about it. People are not worried about what happens if. Can I go pick my son up from school or my daughter? What if my child is sick? Work from home. That's what you need to foster if you're trying to build a world-class company for the future. Training and development, critically important. And I believe that culture can only be developed by that process of never, ever stopping the growth that you are about as a person. It comes from within. Each and every one of you can do whatever you care to do in the future if, firstly, you have your mind set on what that path will be. That's how easy it is. It's challenging. You have to be about your wisdom all the time, but you can do it. We had an incredible professional services approach. I think in the org chart that I will get to in a little bit, we had 28 or 29 people in implementation alone. They would travel the country and implement the client solutions all across the nation. We had our own internal architecture department and quality assurance, the SQA group, together with our own incredible development team. We had a customer support department and testing, and I think we developed the most incredible technology called net oxygen ever developed that I'm aware of. Actually, when I sold the company, I had my attorneys at White & Case, the largest law firm in the world. By the way, friends of mine told me when I retained White & Case as my attorney, they said, "You're crazy. They're going to bill you into the ground. They will bill you into oblivion. They're the largest law firm. That's why they're the largest. They just bill, bill, bill." You know what the real answer is? The real answer is they did the best possible job for me that anyone could ever have done. And they paid their own legal fees back to me 17 times and more.